My name is Karlee Johnson and I'm from Renton, Washington. I'm 16 years old. Today I will be talking about a subject that some may find controversial. I'm a white woman who will be talking about the history of white oppression. And I say it like that because white people have not been oppressed like black people, Hispanic people, and other people of color. This is your first and final warning. This is a touchy subject. Thank you for listening and let's get right to it. Today, everyone is focusing on the unjust balance between the police force and the African American community. Although this topic has been in the back of our mind and has been a problem since the start of the United States with slavery, there is another topic that populates within the U.S. This topic is often referred to as whiteness. Today, I will guide you through this unpretentious topic origin and how it is relevant to the 21st century. My name is Karlee Johnson, and welcome to the history of whiteness. In order to talk about what whiteness is, we must understand where race came from and the ancient history that surrounds it. Different races can date all the way back to 500 BC with the ancient colony within Greece. According to the Seeing White podcast, episode 2, the Greek believed race wasn't solely based upon a person's skin color, but in fact, based on how a person lives. The Greek would often see people who work labor jobs to be of lower class due to how much they work outdoors and how less amount of time they spend indoors. This would often lead to people of lighter skin color would be seen as royalty. This would lead to people often desiring lighter skin. Once mixed-race people started to enter Greece, the Persians, Greek thought their skin color was a genetic mutation due to the fact that they were not only wealthy, but also had a darker pigment than the other people of royalty. Because of this stereotype of lighter-skinned people being wealthier than people of darker skin, this theory carried on into the New World as well. In the 1800s, the term whiteness arose. Whiteness at the time was a phrase that was used to describe how much land a certain individual owned at the time, according to PBS. Not only was this word used to describe how much land you owned, but it was supposed to be a safe place for white people. With this, the term white trash arose. This phrase simply states that a person of white skin does not own as much land as another individual. Although the term white trash dates back to the 1800s, it recently surfaced during the late 1900s. This term lost its original origin of owning land and recently surrounds itself with the stigma of being poor and trashy. This bad stigma of the term white trash made the fathering term of whiteness also have a bad stigma. This made it hard for white people to find a middle balance between the way they can live and the persona they give off if they aren't wealthy. Because of the history of whiteness, it is often taken off as a toggle switch between bland nothingness and racist hatred, said by Michelle Stephenson. In today's society, people often only see white people as simply racist. One woman described racism as a system of advantages and disadvantages based on race. Due to the recent Black Lives Matter movement, this has increased the negative connotation towards this phrase. In today's society, we frame the terms racists and privileged when white people talk about race and their living conditions. Some people can see this as an example of symbolic interaction theory. People tend to relate these words towards white people without learning anything about them before putting labels onto these people. This leads to all the conflict when talking about touchy subjects. This can also lead to the labeling theory. People can frame others for crimes they didn't commit due to their skin color. This theory can lead to different tendencies between people of color and white people. For instance, if a white person were to walk past a cop with their hood up and their hands in their pockets, the cop wouldn't expect anything of it. If a black person were to do the same thing, the cop would suspect something of him due to his racial profiling. Whiteness is such a big topic that many Americans look over due to recent times. If people take time to truly understand this topic, one day people won't just think of the negative part of the phase, but the true history. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk. Have a good night, and God bless.